A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel.
And in this channeling session, I would be doing a relay of the feelings between divine masculine and divine feminine who have buried the old hatchet and they are now in fresh new energies of friendship and acceptance of one another. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So the divine masculine and divine feminine have met after a long time, and the words that they are saying to each other are the same words actually, because they have both understood this whole game very well now. They have both understood that the cause of the fights and the cause of the separation and the cause of all the anger and all the triggers, everything was due to the unhealed wounds, the patterns that they had to clear off, the things that they had to do, the mental work they had to do, the ascension journey that they're on. They understand all of this very clearly, so they are on the same page and they both have a smile on their face. And what they both are saying is that we have been silent for very long. We have both been silent for so long because they are having a proper conversation after a very long time. When I say proper conversation, it means the conversation where both are on the same page. Before the separation, it was the divine feminine who was always convincing him, cajoling him, pacifying him, trying to make him understand what is it and why they feel this way, why this intensity, why these fights, and there are triggers, and there was these silent wars, then cold wars, and then angry wars, and then there was in between feeling of pure love that actually kept them glued together. And then all the negative situations, she was the one who was always trying to make him understand and also to make her own self understand. But he just did not want to understand that. He was so much, he was just in those energies that he could not read the right things, the right messages. He was like that. So then she gave up completely. She let go and she let God take care of the whole journey, and she started continuing to work on her mission, on her work. And she said that, look, even before meeting him, I was very clear about my purpose. At least my purpose, the most basic thing was to be on an honest path and be authentic. The rest would follow automatically. So let me just get back to what I was doing, otherwise I will go nuts, or I will die, or I will, my life will not be having any meaning whatsoever. If I have to find happiness without him on my own, before he understands everything and before he begins to love me again the way I am, then so be it. Then I will be independent. I will be this amazing, independent, natural person. And then later on, when he comes back to her, then there is a phase where he is the one who's trying to make her believe that he has actually figured it out and he has understanding now, and he's apologetic and he doesn't want to fight and waste time, and he wants to give it the most that he can. So he's the one who's trying to make her understand everything, and she's taking it piece by piece, bit by bit, because this time she doesn't want to come across like a person who does not have any self-respect, or who does not understand people when they play games, or when they play tricks. And though he is not playing those games and tricks, but now he has to convince her, because he has hurt her so much, he had wounded her so much, that he has no other option but to convince her. If he thinks that without doing this journey can be processed, then I have to say that is not how it would work. And he is also taking inspired action. It's not like he is making a forceful, dramatic or very planned thing. He is just following his heart and his energies and his soul, and that itself is telling him to go ahead and speak to her and make things work and win her trust and do everything possible that he can to make this relationship flow in the direction that it is meant to flow. So he goes ahead and he tries to talk to her. So there have been these conversations where he was the one talking and she was silent, and she was also trying to figure it out that, okay, we are really talking again, this has actually happened. So as he comes back and as he is having these conversations, she also has to release more stuff that is supposed to be released. So while before the separation she was doing inner work, between the separation she was doing inner work, and even when he comes back she has to do the inner work where she has to remove the fear-based programming, and she has to remove all of the doubts one by one. And these are the doubts that can only be removed when he talks to her, when he listens to the words when she listens to the words he says to her. That is going to help her out, remove those triggers and get a more peaceful sort of closure with what happened before. So though when you do the inner work you are supposed to build faith, but then when your focus is completely on the source, you really don't care what's happening in the other areas because you're so devoted. She has found a place of devotion with the source, and she has found a place of true love. So obviously when the divine masculine talks to her, she is just trying to make a meaning out of it, make it more understandable. And then gradually they reach to a point where she and he, both of them, are on the same page. And then when they say to each other that we have been silent for such a long time, but now it seems we have to speak about what happened. We have to talk about the journey, like we have to talk about everything that happened with us, everything that we went through. And he says that, yes, I mean, why don't you say something? You say something, you say what happened with you, what did you witness, what did you learn, what happened when I was gone, and I will say something that what happened at my end. I will tell you my story, little bit of me, then little bit of you, then we both keep adding on to it. Some part you add, some part I add, and that's how we will solve this puzzle, or we will make a whole story, make a whole picture, like you paint and I paint together, and we will fill the colors together, and eventually we will make the painting together. And they also say to each other that if we would not have spoken, if we don't speak about this, whatever we face to each other, then we will probably carry it with our grave. We would probably take it with our dead body. We would die and it would go with us. Because if you remember the Divine Feminine, you will remember if you have reached that stage. Divine Feminines have to be more, they have to be more within, in the sense they have to keep things to themselves, and they learn this by this journey because they were so abandoned in the childhood, and the trauma, the biggest trauma was abandonment issue. So they would share a lot with people who would not even care about them, hoping that they care about them. But then with time, when the masculine goes away, when she gets a soul shock because of him, she realizes that the only person who truly can listen to her is her own self. And by listening, it doesn't always mean that you have to talk. It's more like the feelings have to be understood, the pain has to be understood. And after she figures that out, she understands that there is source within her, and she can literally talk about anything to the source, and she can take help in any area. And that connection with source that she establishes, that teaches her that she is not alone. She doesn't need friends in the outside world. She doesn't need to look for those family members, look for the mother's love or the father's love or the siblings or the best friends or the colleagues that she was looking outside. Everything that she needs is actually within her. So she learns that thing. She falls in love with the inner silence. And because I said in one more channeling that the sound of silence also has many sounds. She has many friends in the nature, and what the Divine Masculine did is he made the connection solid. She always had that connection, and that's why he was so drawn to her nature and to her beauty and to other things, but there were also these blocks. So it was like she was not completely able to flourish and bloom and be her own self and do her own things. It was only because of the soul shock that she got shaken in such a way that her real self got fully awakened. So the awakening was happening, but she would go to sleep, then wake up, then sleep, then wake up, then sleep. Now it's like she's fully awake. So she has to give the credit to him, and she has to say that if you would not have been so stubborn or so strong or so rigid in your approach, then you would not have said, okay, I'm not happy with this person that I have in my life. You would not have gone away, and I would not have figured it out. So I want to thank you also. And yes, I would have taken the secret with me, with my grave. But now that you're here, why not? Like, let me also share. So then they share with each other what happened to them. She tells him that this is what I faced, and this is how it helped me, and then he's doing the same thing. And there is no judgment, because normally if you're not in your complete energies and someone tells you that, hey, I was in a relationship with that girl and I got so attracted by her body or her beauty or her this or her that, it can bring in some jealousy factor in the feminine. Or if the feminine says the same thing, that yeah, after you left I was in a karmic relationship and this is what I learned from this relationship, or I was doing this or I was doing that, then even the masculine, if he's not in fully developed energies, he can get very jealous and possessive and very non-understanding, and he can be very judgmental. But right now they have developed this camaraderie with each other, where they can be friends as well. As much as they are being a lover, they are playing the lover's role, they are also playing the friendship role. So as friends, they are pouring their hearts out, and there is no judgment whatsoever. There is no and it's not like they are giving the details that can trouble a person, because there are some couples that do this, and I have witnessed it myself. They give very difficult details or very shady details, or they'll tell one another how they made out with someone. They are very stupid couples. And there are some people who ask one another these questions, that how many guys did you sleep with before meeting me? Or the girl will say, how many women did you sleep with? So who was the best? What did she do? These type of questions they ask, and then they get into a very dirty zone. So these two are not like that at all. They are divine feminine and divine masculine. So people who are in the divine energies and the divinity, they don't say nonsense things, or they don't purposely hurt one another. They will share, but they will share in a very respectful manner, that it doesn't hurt the other person, and the other person will also not take it in a negative way, rather take it like the part of the ascension journey. So then the divine masculine says one more thing to her. Well, I was so close to you, like I was just a phone call away. Then why didn't you call me up? Like, you could have always picked up the phone, because you always used to accept me, or you would always, you always made contact, you always got back to me. Then why, during this long separation, you never did that? And then she says that you could have done that too. You could have also picked up the phone, or you could have just come to meet me. You could have messaged me. Why didn't you do it? So he says that it felt like there was a long gap of, so many miles between you and me. Even though you are saying that it sounds like just picking up the phone and making a call, or just typing a message, but it was not that easy. It was very hard, because the distance did not look so easy. The distance did not look like picking up the phone and making a call. The distance was too much to handle. It was too big to handle. The separation became too intense at one point, and then I had really a difficult time dealing with it. And then on every step, it so happened that on every step, like you're in the journey, so, and you're walking up the staircase, so every staircase counts, right? So he's saying that every staircase or every step, my heart used to beat so fast. I used to tremble sometimes. It was so difficult, oh my God, it was so difficult to deal with it at one time. But now we have crossed that stage. So now I don't think we have crossed all the steps, and we have, walked on the staircase till the last step of the staircase. There is nothing left to do now, and why shouldn't we not do this now? I mean, like, go on. keep telling me. It's like they both want to listen to each other. It's like they start at 8 p.m. in the night and it's 8 a.m. but they have not stopped talking. In fact, they can go on talking like this for another 2-3 days literally, and they want to continue talking, and it's not the kind of talking you do and you get like, oh man, I was just talking to my boyfriend on the phone last night and I'm so fucking tired and I'm so sleepy, I should not have done that, it's so unhealthy, blah blah blah. It's not like that. They really look forward to it, and while they're doing all the chores like sleeping, waking up, cooking, eating breakfast, going to work or getting their work, so as and when they catch a breath, they are back to each other and they are completing whatever they leave behind. So step by step they're talking and they're sharing it out. And then the Divine Masculine says, and this is exactly how she feels also, that you know what, finally you did win. Like finally I give up. Like I don't mind losing in this game. And finally I can say this, that it's not been easy to be in love, to find true love, to be on the journey of finding true love, but this love that I have received, or I have found out with so much difficulties, it could have really made us crazy. It could have really taken to a place where we could have ended up in a mental hospital. So now I don't want to keep it to my heart. Like I just want to say it. I don't want to keep anything to myself, otherwise it would have really gone to my grave. And both of them feel the same way. Both of them are fully smiles. They are smiling. They're so thankful to each other. They're so grateful to each other for choosing one another, for being in love, for being that person who had faith, never gave up on faith, never gave up on the right things. And from the Divine Feminine's perspective, from some of you who are very angry with him, you think that he did wrong to you, but from his perspective, he was also just following his heart. However, whatever way he was raised, whatever he knew about true love, he was just going with that feeling, and that's why he did end up choosing the wrong person, did end up thinking that you are not the right person. I mean, the Divine Feminine is not the right person, but eventually he did learn. So that learning is more important, and that figuring things out is more important, and keeping it with you till the end, till eternity, is more important, because this is a permanent lesson. Everything that you learn via the twin flame ascension journey is a permanent transformation. So on that note, I'm going to end this channeling. It was lovely channeling this message, lot of insights, and I felt a lot of intensity in this channeling, and a lot I could see into. And thank you so much for being here with me. I love you a lot, and one love, and peace out.